Hey again, everybody. It's your host, Johnny, back at it again with another video. And on today's topic, I actually want to go over a group in anime that when you think about the anime world, there's a bunch of different groups that come to mind that are famous in the anime community, whether it's the Fairy Tail Guild, the Straw Hat Pirates, the Espada from Bleach, or heck, even the Ginyu Force from Dragon Ball Z. But my favorite group in all of anime that I want to talk about today is the Akatsuki. So I think everybody who knows about the Naruto series knows that this group is quite famous. And what I want to do today is actually rank each member of the Akatsuki members who's ever been a part of it and rank how strong they are compared to their counterparts in the group. But before I get started with today's show, if you do enjoy the content you're listening to here, I do appreciate everybody that has taken time out to listen to my videos and even subscribe to my page. But if you are enjoying the content, liking the video, of course, subscribing to the page will greatly help me out, and I really appreciate that. So let's start with number 13 on my list, and that actually goes to Juzo. So other than the fight he had against the fourth Mizukage a year ago, probably butchered that, but y'all know what I'm talking about, who was a Three Tails Jinchuriki, where, he ended up dying. There's not much lore when it comes to his character. I mean, I know he was a part of the Seven Swordsmen of the Mist, which we know, was a fearsome group at the time, but that's really about it that we have on this character. Unfortunately, without any other feats or anything like that to scale him to, just gonna have to actually rank him right here on the list. Let's go to number 12 on the list, and that goes to Hidan. So basically said to be the weakest member of the Akatsuki by his own words. I'm not going to argue with the man since he said it himself. Now, even though he's not last on the list, I mean, he is an immortal. His jutsu is pretty straightforward. If he gets your blood and he's able to taste it, he's going to be able to sacrifice you or at least injure himself to then hurt you. So don't let him cut you. Don't let him actually draw his circle. And yeah, it's an easy W against Hidan. If you don't believe me, ask Shikamaru, who is basically Batman level prep when it came to beating him. So Hidan, number 12 on my list. Let's go to number 11 on the list. And Conan in my 11th spot. And look, I know that her jutsu is really cool. I actually really like. She's actually a character I think is highly underrated in the series. She wasn't a pushover, but she just didn't actually have anything, to write about that she did as far as feats. Yes, I do know she pushed Obito into having to use the Izanami, but let's be real, she had a ton of prep time. I'm talking about Batman levels of prep time to actually get ready for this fight. Otherwise, she gets bodied by Obito. In the Ninja Storm game 2, it does show, her defeating Sorcery in order to make him join the Akatsuki. But that, actually wasn't deemed canon, at least not yet. So, of course, not going to use that as a scalable feat here. Also, during the attack on the leaf, Pain was actually doing most of that damage to the village. So she was more like a Robin, if you will, to his Batman. So that's why I have her number 11 on the list, even though, again, I do have a great deal of like and admiration for her character. Let's go to number 10 on my list, and that would be Black Zetsu, or Black and White Zetsu, or the Yin Yang Zetsu, whoever you want to say is Zetsu. So look, I already know what a lot of y'all are about to say. How is he this low when he was able to overpower Six Paths Madara and actually used him to revive Kaguya? Okay, I'm trolling. He literally snuck Madara. But other than that, what else did he actually do besides just manipulate things? I mean, I guess that's some feat, but not as far as like strength and battle prowess. I mean, in any case, I'm just gonna put him in 10th because we never really got to see him do anything. So I'm putting her at number 10. But let's go to number 9 on my list. And this is where the list actually gets a little bit interesting because I think now we've gotten all of the obviously weaker members of the Akatsuki out of the way. But in number 9, I have Datara. So two of the coolest fights in the series for me was his fight against Gaara at the beginning of Shippuden, which saw him basically defeat Gaara and took him back to get his Jinchuriki taken from him. And then, of course, his fight versus Sasuke was a phenomenally really good fight. Now, to me, he clearly shows why he's above the previous mentioned members, but he doesn't actually, I don't think he actually belongs higher than this. The reason why I say that is because even though he has some really cool feats and impressive jutsu with the C0 bomb, I mean, he does lose to Sasuke, and in my opinion, if he had actually not pulled some cheap tricks against Gaara, I mean, maybe Gaara could have beat him too, possibly, we don't know. But hey, his art is an explosion, but it's just not powerful enough to blow that man any higher than this on the list. So that's Data at number 9. Let's go to number 8 on my list, and boy, I know I'm finna get some hate for this one. Ooh, I'm finna trigger a bunch of fans out here for this one. At number 8, I have Kakatsu. So look, of course, the other immortal of the group. I mean, he has some impressive feats that clearly make him top 10. I mean, he did fight and live against the first Hokage Hashirama, which is pretty darn impressive just to be able to survive that fight. We don't know how he survived it. The data book didn't give us much, but he survived it. He also fought and beat the Two Tails Jinchuriki. Yes, I know he had help from Hidan, but still, I'm pretty sure he put in work. He also would have killed Kakashi, Ino, and Choji, had Naruto and Yamato not shown up. Now, I know a lot of people, again, have argued, and I've seen argued on certain Naruto pages and channels that he is one of the strongest members of the Akatsuki. And though he's not pushover, but let's be honest, the other 7 people I have above him are stronger than Kakatsu. But let's go to number 7 on my list. So before I get people, of course, sending me hate mail for this, which probably going to get some for that Kakatsu take, but whatever, I have Sorcery at number 7. And yes, higher than Kakatsu, higher than Datara, in my opinion. And here's why. He's the strongest puppet master in the world, and he was also able to assassinate the 3rd Kazekage and actually turn him into one of his own human puppets. He was also able to take down a whole village by himself with his 100 puppet jutsu, plus the poison he possesses are extremely deadly as well. He also was able to turn himself into a human puppet, which again made him pretty much almost immortal, much like Kakatsu and Hidan. The only way you could kill him was to basically blow up his core. I mean, it literally took Sakura and Chiyo having to tag team up to beat him. And honestly, the reason why that was able to happen was really because Granny Chiyo just had knowledge of him since, he was her grandson. So she actually took advantage of that. She prepped for his poisons and everything like that. So it really helped to have her in that fight. Without Granny Chiyo being there, I don't think Sakura stood a chance in beating that man. So for me, for all those reasons, Sorcery gets underrated in my opinion, but his feats, intelligence, and mastery of his puppet master jutsu is why I actually have him at number 7 on my list. So let's go to number 6 on the list. 6 on the list, kind of rhyme. But anyway, let me get back into it. I have Kizame. So the one known as the Tailless Tail Beast comes here on this placement on the list, and this man has had some things actually to back up this claim. For starters, he was able to take down the Four Tails Jinchuriki, and he was also able to hold his own against Team Guy with just using a 60% water clone of himself. One of the things that makes him strong is his ability to actually match his opponent's strength. For example, when he fought Killer B, he was able to actually match his strength and almost pulled out the win before, he had to actually retreat. He was also able to take out his clan's leader early on, even before joining the Akatsuki, which also speaks to his strength. Yes, I know it wasn't like straight 1-for-1 fighting, but whatever. He did it. He got somehow to get over it. Now, some believe he's, just as strong as Itachi, which I honestly don't quite see that. To be honest, I know they had that little sparring session, But I think even Kizame noticed that, yeah, I don't think Itachi was going on out, and if he did, he probably would have beat me. So don't want to take anything away from him because of that. He is really strong. I think he belongs at number 6, but I couldn't put him in the top 5. Let's get to my top 5, and yeah, this is about to get real nuts. Got like, man, you ever ran through 6? Who are the other 5? Well, get into them. Check it out. Who's I have in number 5? So to be honest, this character right here, if I was actually ranking him pretty much all the way through Boruto, he's probably number 1, or at least top 3 for sure. But I'm only ranking him for when he was basically in Shippuden, normally, or in the Akatsuki. So with that being said, I have Orochimaru at number 5. So he's one of those characters when I first actually watched Naruto, thinking that I couldn't imagine an enemy stronger than him. I still think that the fight he had with the third Hokage was one of the best in the original Naruto series. Now, let me actually go over some of his feats that I believe actually make him top 5. As I mentioned, of course, this fight with the third Hokage was insane. I mean, the third Hokage was well past his prime at that point, but he still had a lot of fight in him. He couldn't beat Orochimaru, so he just used the Reaper Death Seal to actually seal away his Jutsu ability by sealing away his arm. He was also said to be the strongest member out of the legendary Sannin, and he actually has a vast knowledge of Jutsu, including forbidden ones. Even with his abilities being taken, he was still able to hang in with Naruto after he went into Tail Beast mode and actually showed 4 tails. So he was able to contend with that. I would say that's pretty good. He actually has so many hacks abilities, it actually makes Orochimaru a problem to deal with. He wasn't a part of the Akatsuki for long, but even with that, he was still one of the strongest members there. Truth be told, he only left the Akatsuki because of the guy I have ranked ahead of him. So let's actually get to him, and that is Itachi. I don't think any reasonably objective Naruto watching fan can actually deny how strong Itachi actually is. Now, I mean, I've seen, some people's list where, they have him ranked low for many reasons, like he lost to Sasuke, or as long as you don't look into his eyes, you're fine. Reasons like that people make up. But some people actually argue that he's higher than 4, that he's stronger than Pain, and even potentially stronger than Obito, which I don't see that, but I'll get to those gentlemen here in a second. Itachi has obviously some incredible feats. I mean, yes, he fought and lost to Sasuke, but that was because he was at the end of life dealing with his sickness, and he was holding back when actually fighting his brother because he didn't want to kill him. When he did kind of get into it with Kakashi after, coming back to the village to really just make sure Sasuke was good, he ended up putting Kakashi in a genjutsu so strong that, dude had to go recover in the hospital. Dude was down for a while just because of that. Itachi has his Soshinu that has a Tosca blade, which can seal anything that it actually stabs. I mean, he did use it on Orochimaru. He was trying to, take over Sasuke's body when they fought. And he also, of course, used that to seal Nagito later on in the 4th Great Ninja War. Of course, he also has a Yata Mirror to block any attack, as it says in the data book. He also has Amaterasu and his tremendous amount of visual prowess. Yeah, Itachi is insanely powerful, but I couldn't get him in the top 3. Let's go to number 3 on my list. So I have my favorite character in all Naruto at number 3, and that is Nagito. Some people may know him as Pain. The man has a endless list of jutsu. I mean, his most famous ones obviously are Chubako Tensei and then Shinra Tensei. He can a ton of different summons. He can absorb jutsu because he has a Rinnegan. He has push and pull. I mean, dude is ridiculously strong. He can create weapons out of his body, which is nuts. He can summon the ghetto statue. He only did that once, but he still can. He has a Reaper of Hell who can steal your soul. What does Nagito not have? The dude is incredibly powerful. I remember when he invaded the Leaf Village, that still is the best arc in all of Naruto. By the way, if you're interested in that, check out my video about ranking the different arcs in Naruto. Nagito is just that darn good. The only reason why he lost in Naruto the first time was, well, to be honest, plot armor. And then when he was revived, he would have actually ended up killing Naruto and B had Itachi not used Kodo Masakami from the crow that came out of Naruto's mouth on himself to basically gain back control of his body. Yeah, Nagito would have actually took out Killer Bee and Naruto, which is pretty insane. Nobody I listed above Nagito. Maybe Itachi could have maybe took out Naruto and Killer Bee at the same time, you know, Tosca Blade and all that. But yeah, nobody below Itachi was certainly in this class. And even though I think Nagito was stronger than Itachi, I don't think it's by much. Like, I don't think it's leaps and bounds or anything like that. But Nagito, number 3 on the list, one of the best villains in all of Naruto. But let's go to number 2 on my list, and that goes to the Simp of 6 Paths. No, I'm joking. It goes to Obito Uchiha. So we all know about Obito's abilities. I mean, look, dude has Kamui, so you can't even hit him. He can suck you into the Kamui dimension in which you can't get out unless he lets you out. Once he gained the Rinnegan, he was able to control the 6-tailed beast that he had captured and kind of use them as like his paths of pain, since he actually has the Rinnegan. And then on top of that, he turns into Jubito. And once he turns into Jubito, yeah, at that point, I mean, it literally took Talk no Jutsu, also known as massive plot armor, for them to beat him. That's how strong Obito was. The only person in the series we saw who was able to body Obito was the 4th Hokage when they fought, when he invaded the village. But at that time, Obito was only 14 years old. And he was going toe-to-toe with the 4th Hokage, my second favorite character in all of Naruto. So yeah, Obito, especially when he became Jubito, clearly, even without becoming Jubito, but clearly the second strongest member of the Akatsuki, and I don't think that's up for debate. And let's go to my number 1 Akatsuki member. I think by now everybody probably sees where I'm going with this, right? And that would be Madara Uchiha. I know he was never quote-unquote officially in the group, but the thought of the Akatsuki, the plan of it, was actually given to Obito by Madara. So yeah, that's why I actually have him number 1. When he became the Sage of 6 Paths, or Jubi Madara, as people call him, at that point, he was the strongest character we had ever seen in the show. That was one of the things I know people didn't like about the war arc, right? Was like, it just kept, like, we got Jubito, which was already stupid. Prior to him, we had both Madara and then Obito, right? Which were stupid. And then it just kept getting stupider. Then we get Madara absorbing the 10 tails to becoming, Jubi Madara. He fought Mike Guy, who had to open the 8 gate. In some respects, he was letting Guy hit him, and with a lot of help, almost died from, Guy. But anyway, he only got defeated because Black Zetsu pulling a Warcraft level backstab from a rogue. It was literally like the writer said, you know what? We don't want him too powerful. How could we kill him? Oh, I know. And that's what they did, because that's what it looked like when they actually had him lose. But yeah, Madara Uchiha, I have a number 1 on the list of strongest Akatsuki members